Okay, I have to talk about the Caminito del Rey. It is not Roman, and the name is Spanish for the King's Path because I guess the King of Spain came to visit while they were working on it or soon after, and it's good to be the king. So it's a great day trip outside of Seville or Malaga. You can actually do it from Granada too. But that, of course, assumes that you're not afraid of heights because it's a little bit of a nail biter at some points. We did it on our way from Granada to Ronda and really had a blast. As you can see, the path here winds along the edge of the cliff. It's built above the old path, which was used by the workers for the hydroelectric plants that were running around the Rio Guadalhorce River. The old path, as you can see, kind of in bad condition there, and it was in bad condition. And they actually some kids were trying to swing across from the other side of the river to get onto it, and apparently they fell, and unfortunately they died. And the government closed it down. They rebuilt it, made it a lot safer, and it's actually a blast, and it's a big attraction in this part of Andalucía. So I highly recommend it, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. There are some amazing videos out there on YouTube, so I'm not even going to try to match those. It includes drone footage, even though they're very specific that you're not allowed to bring drones. As with my other videos, I'm just trying to fill in the gaps on the sites to show you what tricks we picked up along the way. As I said, it was an extremely fun time, and the catwalk just kind of runs along the cliff face for several kilometers. Eventually, there's a glass floor, which I think is a little overrated. And then you get to the best part, which is this suspension bridge that takes you across the river at a very high height above the bottom of the canyon. And it moved a lot more than I was expecting. But keep in mind, there are tons of wires and cables, so the only real danger that I could see was from falling rocks. And as you can see, they give you give everybody a helmet, so that's a pretty minimal danger. When you buy your tickets, which I'll show the site here in a minute, there are guided and unguided tours. I would suggest the guided tour, which is what we did. They give you a little radio. You can kind of see my wife plugging that in there. And the guide then explains a little bit of the history as you go. You can see here, after we've come through the gate into the getting toward the actual boardwalk, our guide gave us a little briefing on the history of the site and the things that we would be able to see. The total walk is about 4.5 miles, which is 8 kilometers for those folks of you who like metric. That's about 1.5 miles of regular trail to get you to the gate, or you can take a 1-mile path if you want to take a shorter path to the gate. Then about 2 miles of boardwalk, and then about 1.25 miles from the end of the boardwalk to the town of El Churro, where the hike ends. The rules are very specific. They say dogs are not allowed, not even service animals. We did see one lady carrying some poor little dog with little itty bitty narrow feet. I would have been shocked if she got it in, and it definitely would have gotten its paws stuck along that way. And carrying a dog for 5 miles, that's not my idea of fun. But anyway, most folks were wearing hiking boots, but honestly, you could get by with just a good pair of walking shoes, whatever you want to wear on a 5-mile walk, depending on the weather. We did it in October of 2023, and it was about 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. I couldn't imagine doing it when it was really hot. So think about your tolerance to heat and weather based on when you go. As with so many other places in Spain, your choices, most practical choices, are trains, buses, or rental car. The train, which is run by Renfe, and you can get your tickets on renfe.com or trainline.com, run from Malaga to El Churro, which is the town that is at the end of the hike. The hike only runs in one direction. When I checked on the prices, I was seeing €6 each way, which is just an incredibly good deal. Buses are pretty much based on group tours. So you sign up for a group tour and then you ride a bus. That sounded like another great option. It's a bit more expensive, but of course they're taking all the hassle out of it. So you don't have to worry about tickets and transportation and guides. It's all included. But of course, it's a little more expensive. And the tours that I saw were somewhere between 100 and €150 per person. And I don't have any services I could recommend, but it looks like there are numerous services running out of Granada, Malaga, and Seville. As usual, I really like to have flexibility, the flexibility of a car, and we were coming from Granada and doing the hike on our way to Ronda, so the rental car really was the most logical option for us. The Caminito del Rey website is very good. I've got that linked right here. They sell tickets as well as have some level of maps and details on buses and transportation. They are where you buy the tickets. The tickets are sold for very specific entry times, and as I said, either guided or unguided. So you have to pay attention to what time you're buying the ticket versus when you think you'll get to the trailhead, because you have to allow that time to hike from the trailhead to the gate where they actually will let you in. There's also a decent website, Andalucía Tourist Board, that covers the Caminito. And then there's this commercial tourism information page down here. I'll put it, you can't see it all because my head's in the way, but I'll put it down in the chat. It has interesting information. Some of it tends to be on more of a commercial nature. So if you're taking the train, as I said, you'll get off in El Churro. I love churros. I wonder if there's any relationship. Anyway, this is actually the end stop for the hike, as I said. So here we've got the train station in El Churro. There's actually a little booth out here, a little white booth, where you buy your tickets for €2.50 each in cash. And you get on the bus and you ride it along. So the bus stops at the main parking lot, and people tend to get on and off there for their parking there. And then it goes up past the north lot to El Kiosco. If I mumble, nobody will know. I don't know how to pronounce it. Restaurant. And you can get off there. And from there, you can take the long hike, which I'll explain. Or you can stay on the bus. It turns around and then stops and drops off at the north lot. And that actually is closer to the location for the shorter entry hike. If you're coming by car, of course, you will need to park your car. And basically, if you haven't gotten it already, there are pretty much two places that you can park, the main lot and the north lot. If you park in the main lot, which to me seemed a little less stressful because it's much larger, there's a lot more parking available, you would park there and then wait for the bus. When it shows up, you pay for your ticket but with the bus driver and hold on to it, because you'll have to ride it back again from El Churro to the main lot after your hike. And then you just ride it up, and as I said, same thing as train. Either you get off for the longer walk or for the shorter walk to the gate. And then finally, if you're taking a tour group, well, they'll tell you exactly what to do. So if you got off the bus at the restaurant, you've got this short little tunnel you walk through, and then that takes you on a long walk. Or if you get off more towards the north, you can actually walk this. We walked the whole thing. It's not very long. But anyway, if you get off more towards the north lot, there is a longer stretch of tunnel and then a short hike, right? So long hike, short hike. And that'll get you to the gate. The gate is actually where your time is for your ticket. So you have to think about how long it's going to take you to get from the parking lot to the trailhead and then to the gate to make your time. I suggest bringing snacks and water. It's there is when you're on the hike, there really isn't a place to get any water or anything to drink. There were some machines at the gate, but I'm guessing that those are not always full. And then there are some restrooms at the gate, but then after that, and there were long lines too. After that, there's nothing until you get to El Churro. So you want to plan your beverage consumption ahead of the hike, probably appropriately to deal with that potential situation. And that is how you get to the Caminito del Rey and some of the details on the hike. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more on some of the places that we've traveled and some of the tips, please go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll try to pull a few more together.